All right, so this is going to be a review of some exponent rules. There's a lot of them, so I'm just going to go over some basics. First thing first, remember that anything to the 0 power is always 1, right? Anything to the 0 power is always 1. That's an identity. It doesn't matter what you have there. It could be like a parenthesis. It could look like this, right? If that whole thing's to the 0 power, it's 1, okay? Second of all, remember how negatives work. If you have something to the power of like -2, what you'll do with that is to simplify our radicals, we always want to simplify our exponents, we always want positive exponents. So we're just going to make it cross the fraction bar. So x to the -2 is equal to 1 over x to the -2. It also works the other direction. So let's say that you had 5 over y to the -3. The negative is in the denominator, so to make that positive, we're going to make it cross the fraction bar and be in the numerator. But now this is like a fraction over 1, so you do not need that, so it's just going to be 5 times y to the power of 3. All right, then there is the multiplication rule, right? So let's say if you have the same base, so like x squared x to the 3rd power. Whoops, I wrote y and I said x. My goodness, Miss Evans. All right, so because they have the same base, because they're both x's, what you'll do here is because we are multiplying the bases, we're going to add together their exponents. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Now, remember how I wrote the y first? If there was a y there, you couldn't simplify that. You can't add together their exponents because they don't have the same base. Very similar idea with division. If we have x to the 6th power divided by x to the let's see, 4th power, right? You're just going to subtract. 6 minus 4 gives you 2. Right? Let me just do a couple more examples of that that are a little more complicated. You could have, let's actually do like one really complicated one. We'll call this a to the 5th power, b, c to the 3rd, and we'll divide it by a to the 2nd power, b to the 4th, and c. Now, a couple of things here. Remember, if there is no exponent, like we have with this b in the numerator and the c in the denominator, then the exponent is 1, right? So go ahead and, actually, let me draw some lines here because it's looking confusing for me. There you go. Now I can kind of get some organization to my thoughts. All right, so what we are going to do here is you're going to want to focus on a couple of things. So first, let's look at the A's. The A's, right? It's 5 minus 2. That gives us a to the 3rd power. So let's go ahead and this is equal to a to the 3rd power. And then with our B's, right, we have 1 minus 4, which gives us -3, but we don't want -3. We want positive values. So we're going to put the 3 down at the bottom. That will make it positive. Then let's go ahead and take a look at the C's. We have 3 minus 1. And that will be 2. And that would be your answer right there. And I didn't use the multiplication one because I forgot to do that. But that's like a more complicated division one. All right, so there is a few of them. Oh, the power rule. Let me go ahead and do the power rule. So there's also the one where if you have an exponent of an exponent, so like, let's say that this is 4x squared y. And if you have that to the power of like 4, for example, then what you're going to do is this is kind of like, think of like distribution. It has to get distributed to all of these and it has to get multiplied by 1. They have to multiply. So with the y, there's no number there, which means that the exponent is 1. So here what we would have is 4 to the power of 4. and I'll talk about that in a second. And then x to the power of multiply 2 times 4, we get 8. And then y to the power of multiply 1 times 4, we just get 4. I would simplify this. 4 to the power of 4 is 16, 64, 216. What is 216 to the times 4? Oh, no. Wow, I'm totally off. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is whatever. 4 to the 4th power, according to my calculator, is 256. Ta-da! So that would be my simplified answer. Again, a simple version of the power rule is like if you have x to the 3rd power and it's being raised to the power of 5. Again, the idea is that we are looking at these two things and we are multiplying them. So this one would just be x to the 15th. That's a pretty quick run through of all the different exponential rules that we talked about. If you have questions, please ask.